So just to repeat, I was saying statements like Aham Brahmasmi and Tattvamasi can be very confusing sometimes. What's Sanjay joining, I think. Hi, Sanjay. Oh, he's still trying to log in. Let Sanjay get on and then otherwise I'll have to repeat it again. Hey, Sanjay.
Hi,
Hello,
Sanjay.
GM.
How are you?
Hi,
Hello.
hi, Kiki.
Thunder, buddy, you're wearing your jacket and everything.
I just came back.
Just
It's
got back.
cold outside. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Um,
So we were
yeah.
just getting started.
Yeah.
And I was telling everyone that we are now almost to the end of, we're well past the middle of chapter 18.
Yeah.
And there's not that much, it won't take very long to finish
Okay.
chapter 18, maybe a couple of sessions at most, because I went through it and I saw what all is in there. And you guys are
Mm-hmm.
very familiar with most of it.
Mm-hmm.
So what I want to do is to make sure that and I mentioned this before, the next few sessions, we talk about any doubts in any aspect of Vedanta or Gita, right?
Mm-hmm.
So one thing that I noticed is that we may still be confused about this Aham Brahmasmi and Tattvamasi. What exactly does it mean? How to think about non-duality, how to think about Aham Brahmasmi.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed that because, and I think it may be a good idea to just go spend some time over it. Sounds good?
Another thing is
Yeah.
how to think about Aham Brahmasmi and how to feel that I am Brahman.
Yeah, exactly. That's the idea.
Exactly.
That's what I was trying. That was what I was trying to
Yeah.
say. Because if you think that I am Brahmasmi, see, Aham Brahmasmi is very confusing.
Yeah.
Because if you start thinking that I am Brahman, that means I am everything. I'm not this
Mm-hmm.
body and mind, I am the whole world. And you say, okay, I maybe one day I'll feel that I'm this whole world.
Mm-hmm.
But you know that Vedanta is not about this sort of experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of a feeling is not possible. You can never sit down and say, oh, now I'm having this mystical experience that I am this whole world. You can have that experience, but that is not a mystical experience. That's a hallucinogenic experience. Okay. Through hallucinogenic agents, you can definitely feel anything you want. But that is not the idea of Aham Brahmasmi. So to understand Aham Brahmasmi, you have to first understand what they mean by Aham. Or
But
Tattvamasi, what does
sorry
firm
to
mean?
interrupt you.
Yeah?
Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
But people like Buddha, people like Guru Nanak, at some stage of their uh, tapasya and everything, they must have realized that everything is one, that oneness
Absolutely.
factor.
Yeah, that is true. No
Yeah,
doubt about it. Everything is one. That is absolutely correct.
yeah.
But to say that I am going to feel like I'm not just this body and mind, but I'm this whole world, that can be very misleading till you fully understand what it means,
Mm,
right? Everything is one. There is no question about it. You will
mm,
feel it. You will understand it. You'll have no doubt about it. And that is what
mm,
nirvana means
mm,
in Buddhism or moksha. In It means that you have no doubt. You're convinced that everything is one. But so to say that they say Aham Brahmasmi. But what we have to know is that to understand that Aham Brahmasmi, the first thing you have to do is to understand what that Aham means, right? And that's why Gita starts with that. The first six chapters are about Aham only. Tattvamasi, they're about Tvam. So this Aham is not the feeling of me that I have right now. That is not the Aham. Okay? What First you have to know what are you actually? Because if you start thinking that I am this feeling that I have this today, my feeling me, most likely that is incorrect because you start thinking then, okay, is this feeling of me being me, encompassing within itself the whole world? It's not, right? As of now, the feeling of me is encompassing just me. You're trying to say I am Aham Brahmasmi, but you're not saying Sanjay is also Aham Brahmasmi and Mukta is also Aham Brahmasmi and Kiki is also Aham Brahmasmi. You're saying just me. So your focus is all on this me. So obviously that me is not the me that Bhagwan or Gita or Vedanta wants to point you to. That is just a feeling. That is just a thought. That me is ahamkar. So what is the me? And the question they will ask you is like if you do avastha traya, this feeling of me, is it there when you're in deep sleep? If it's not there in deep sleep, that means it's not the me of Vedanta. Because this me of Vedanta is there all the time. So this is not the me which is going to become the world. Okay. And you can't say, okay, today it's not the world, but tomorrow it'll become the world. That is not the idea even, because it already is the world. So to understand this, you have to first drop this identification about with this feeling of me. That's what aham actually means. It means not this feeling of me, but it means the actual me, which has no feeling. Feeling is just a feeling, but it has existence.
Mhm.
Okay? So maybe try to identify with that me through the Avastatraya. Think, Avastatraya is a deep sleep, dream, and waking state. Think what is common between the three states, particularly deep sleep, right? Can you identify or locate the me that you know in deep sleep? You can't. There's no time, there's no space, there's no me, there's no other separate thing. So this is what we have to dwell upon to fully understand what Brahman, what Vedanta means by aham. And what you'll find what it means is that what it's trying to say is that we have this fear that this my feeling of me, my understanding of me, this body and mind, this me, I can't give up. It's what I we have this fear that this me will go away. And we are thinking that Vedanta is saying, no, no, this me will not go away. This will always be there. Your body and mind will go away, but this feeling won't go away. That is not correct. That is not what Vedanta is saying. Vedanta is saying that if you can drop, even if you drop this feeling of me, which is this, whatever the identification is, nothing will, nothing substantial is going to change. You're not going to feel as if you've gone out of existence. Just like when you are in deep sleep, you don't feel you're going out of existence.
But who will not feel? The one who fears that they will go out of existence
No,
is
no, the one who fears is the mind, is the
yes,
ahamkar.
yes, but the
Yeah.
mind will go away.
The mind will go away, right? Right. But it's like, I mean, the way the analogy to me is it's almost like if you're swimming in a swimming pool and you're in 4 feet of water and you're 6 feet tall and you don't know that you're in 4 feet of water, you're just, you know, thinking that you're in some deep Pacific Ocean. And you keep swimming, you're thinking, oh my God, I have to keep swimming because if I stop swimming or if I stop beating my arms, I'm just going to sink and go away. And then you realize what Vedanta is telling you, no, 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 stop beating your arms. It's okay. Wait, there's land below you. You are not going to sink. That's the analogy to me. It's telling you that it's not as if when this feeling of me goes away, it's the end of you.
That
It,
there is that when this feeling of me as this person, individual person goes away, that this feeling was a made up feeling anyway, that this feeling was just
where
that this feeling is not existence.
when this feeling of me as a made up person is again a little bit of a cop out. When this feeling of me, you have no other feeling of me other than a made up person. So you just say when this feeling of me goes away.
Right. Okay, you're right. So
Okay.
when this feeling of me goes away,
Yeah. Nothing will
it,
happen.
it'll be like being in deep sleep.
Yes, it'll be like being in deep sleep. Maybe, I don't know whether it'll be like being in deep sleep or whatever, but deep sleep is an analogy. That's just, maybe deep sleep there could be some sukshma ahamkar in deep sleep or something like that. These are just analogies to tell you.
But sorry, can I ask?
Yeah, yeah. But let me, have everybody else also understood any questions on any clarifying questions before we go to other questions? So
No,
what
it's
it's
okay.
actually saying is that this underlying reality, which cannot be defined, which cannot be explained, which cannot be experienced, which cannot be thought about, which can be, nothing can be done about it. It's just there, is the common base for everything. When Mukta, when Mukta gives up her feeling of me, that's the reality she lands. When Kiki gives up, the same reality, Sanjay same. So there's one common reality. That's what it means. So we land in, or we meaning of who lands, there's that nobody to land.
Yes.
But it's saying that it's not that there is no floor when everything, all these things are hanging around in space and time and there is nothing to support them. There's no floor. Everything will die and extinguish and we worry about what will happen. It's not like that.
Then why do we say Aham Brahmasmi? Why do we
Well,
bring in
I
Ham?
mean, because, I mean, I thought about it too. My feeling is we say it because it's a transition statement. It's a Aham Brahmasmi is not Vedanta 401. It's Vedanta 101. In the sense, you you have deeply identified yourself with Aham,
Yeah.
right? And you're afraid. So it's the first step to try to tell you that you're not this body and mind. You are the. So see, even if you read up on this, when you listen to Swamiji or listen to Carol or anybody else and all, they say the same thing. That first you have to unfold this Aham properly. What does it mean? Then you have to unfold Brahman. What does that mean? And then you say the two others. Tattvamasi is examples. Swamiji says this all the time. Tat and Tvam are two different things. We think they are two absolutely different things. Tat is you, the individual. Tat is the world. Tvam is you. It's the duality. We are trying to say Tat and Tvam. When we say there's Tat and there's Tvam, that means there's duality. There is Tat, which is the world, and there is Tvam, which is you. So you're two different things, Tattvam, two dualities. It's saying no, there's no duality, there's one. This Tat and Tvam is the same thing. It's same thing fundamentally, but the difference is in the forms. That's what it's trying to say. So they say it's the essence of Vedanta because that's what Vedanta is. But what we think about it is we forget about the underlying difference. We are so focused on ourselves that we think, okay, I am everything else. Like, I don't want to give up on this I, but I will subsume the rest of the world in me. But that's not the point. That's not Vedanta. Then you don't understand Vedanta, right? Vedanta is saying that the fundamental straight is the same fundamental thing, whether it's in Kavita, I mean Kiki or Mukta or Sanjay or whoever. But we like to say, okay, I'm Kiki, I am everything. That's solipsism. That's not Vedanta.
So, sorry, can I ask now?
Yeah.
So the mind that it's accurate to say that the mind that fears it's going to die is in fact going to die, but the mind, while it has this fear, can also have the corresponding knowledge that it is not what gives anything or itself existence.
What? Say that again.
The mind, so my mind fears that I fear I'm going to die.
Right.
I fear I'm going to die.
Right.
And I'm right in fearing that because I am going to die. I am going to die. Right?
Right.
So when we make statements like, the mind doesn't have to fear that it's going to die, that's not true. The mind, in fact, whatever the mind
No,
fears is
no, no. See,
to
because I
happen.
think it. You said, "I fear I'm going to die," because it's a true statement. That is not true statement. You are going to die. That is a true statement. But
Yeah.
your fearing is not a true statement. You don't have to fear to die. The mind doesn't have to fear of death. It's the fear which is the problem, not the death.
Okay. And the fear is the problem because once
It's
you
it's
know,
built
once you
on
have
lack of
knowledge,
knowledge.
yeah. And so that's what I was saying, that once you have knowledge through Vedanta, that
No,
My
through your own conviction, through your own thinking.
Vedanta as a tool and through the mind's own, my own
Yeah,
thinking,
through
through
your
my
own
own
thinking,
thinking,
exactly. Even
through
if you
my
didn't have
own thinking.
Vedanta, you could have had something else, right?
Right, right,
Right.
correct. But once I know that my existence is never going, what gives me existence right now, it's the same existence that I have in deep sleep, that I am not there in deep sleep, but it's the same existence I have in deep sleep. So then I know that my existence is never going anywhere. My existence, but
No,
I, what
the
that's going
existence
to,
is not going to go. It's just, you
but
see, it's like because you're still thinking from the perspective of my.
you know why? You know
Uh,
why? Because this entire dialogue is happening, this entire teaching is taking place. If I was convinced that if I don't have to think about the my, then I don't have this question. The
I
question
understand. I'm trying to
exists.
tell you that that is what you're doing. In the teaching cannot. That's have you ever heard that the teaching can only open the door? You have to walk through it,
Yeah,
right? So the teaching can only talk in duality.
yeah,
Teaching cannot teach you non-duality because how can it?
yeah,
We are
yeah, yeah,
talking in duality, so you have to make the step
yeah,
further for the non-duality. So I'm just giving you suggestions on how to make that step, but don't expect the teaching to give you that suggestion. I mean, don't expect the teaching to take you there by its hand. You have to start. I can only tell you where I think you're going wrong in your thinking. After that, you have to do the thinking to see like what does it all mean? It means this also, it means all these contradictory things are happening. So what is it that reconciles all these contradictory things? What is it that reconciles the fact that I am the one who's afraid, but I can't say it's my existence and all these things
yeah,
because we are caught in Maya, we are talking in duality. So all I can do is keep pointing. Just like the books that I've read and Carol and Swamiji have started kept in his words, keep pointing to me.
yeah,
The last step is yours to take. Okay, so you don't expect an answer which is going to be satisfactory from
yeah,
all considerations
yeah,
because that answer is in duality.
yeah,
So what it's saying is, what I'm trying to tell you is, won't worry about the world. Don't worry about the experience of the world. Think about you. What exactly am I? Why does Vedanta say you don't have to worry? Why, why am I worried? What is behind the fear? So just think of that because that clarifies the aham. That clarifies to the extent possible the me. And only then you can think, okay, the rest of the world is all. Then from there is, it's not even how to think.
yeah.
It's like a simple step.
Yeah, it feels like if my very rigid conviction of me being this me, of me being the usual me that I've thought of since my childhood, once that starts loosening, then then things start making sense.
But is it loosening?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the thing. It's not, I mean, yeah, be in the present.
But yeah.
Yeah, be in the present. Don't like whence this happens and these are distractions of the mind, right?
No,
These are
no.
distractions. I'm just trying to tell you again, just listen. These are distractions because they serve as a balm to you right now. Okay, right now I'm okay, but once I start thinking like this, once this happens and this will happen, think right now, at this moment, what is it? What am I feeling? What is my fear? Anyway, Mukta, you have any question?
No, not really, but what he was saying कि वो जो मी वाली फीलिंग है
Hmm.
इतनी आसानी से जाती नहीं है अभी इट्स नॉट
So ठीक है,
लाइक दैट
it
फीलिंग
doesn't,
stays.
you don't have to force it to go away.
Yeah,
It will go away when
you
it goes
can't
away, if it
force it
goes
to
away.
go.
Yeah, you can't do anything about it.
Yeah, पर वही बात है कि since we live in the real world, that feeling of me, I, it remains. Like you have to interact in the world in that Vyavharika thing.
But
You have
you
to,
remember what we said in that, I mean, even that article that I wrote on the ego and everything.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
The feeling is not, there's nothing, the feeling is there.
yeah,
But the thing is to recognize it as a feeling, that's all. The feeling
yeah.
is not going to go away, right? But you're thinking that we say that that particular feeling is somehow the reality and everything else is a feeling.
No, no.
So Swami
Yeah.
okay, naam unka, Raman Maharishi, this was his way of teaching. He said that if you think behind every thought, at the root is an I thought, is the I thought. He said the way that we all think is that there's a thought, we can say, oh, I'm having thoughts. But then beneath it there's an I thought, which says I am having those thoughts,
Mhm.
right? It's the that I thought that needs to go.
Yeah.
To that I thought needs to be converted into another thought, not the other thought. So everybody can see the thought. That's not a big deal. We can all see that we can have a distance from the thought, but we don't have a distance from the I thought. We make a separation between those thoughts and the I thought, and we say that there's a separation. But the I thought is very much at the base. We don't even recognize, we don't even know it's there, right? So that's what Raman Maharishi was saying. He says, now you look at the I thought. Trace your thoughts back to the I thought. Who's having the thoughts? Me, this I thought. Then you say, oh, that I thought is just a thought. That's the idea, right? Because we always, this is natural. This is how it is.
But if you don't have the I thought, will you be able to recognize the other thoughts?
No, no, absolutely not. And you're totally
Absolutely
right,
not.
Sanjay. So glad you said it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
cannot recognize the other thoughts if you don't have the I thought. But
Yeah.
you can recognize that the I thought is another thought, just like the other thoughts.
Mm.
You see the I thought, that's enough.
But then who has to recognize it?
That's the thing. You have to understand that the I
Understood.
thought is another thought.
Mm.
Yeah,
So
that's
even
Sanjeev, that's exactly the question I used to always have. Who's going to recognize the I thought?
Mm.
see, because that's why all
Uh,
these things, these are all, like, you cannot, there's no answer to these questions, because everything, meditation, all these recognition exercises, Karam Yoga, everything is in duality. All our disciplines are all in duality, right? So these are all, we cannot, even when we're saying I'm going to recognize, it's all duality. That's why the Raman Maharishi's answer to this was be still. Stop. Stop all these thoughts. Who's going to recognize this? Who's going to do this? Who's going to do that? Just stop. Be still. Just relax. And that you can do. Once you've given enough thought to all these things, and once you have some basic understanding about all this, you can allow yourself to relax. That is what meditation. In fact, the message that you sent, Mukta, the
yeah,
one on Rupert Spira, exactly the
yeah,
same
yeah,
thing. Just
yeah.
relax.
That was
You
really
don't have,
nice. I liked it, so I
yeah.
said, let me share it.
He was saying the same thing. Just take it easy,
Yeah,
just relax. Because anything you do is always going to be like, there's no logical conclusion to it. That's why they say you cannot know the me, because you cannot say there's a, like, there will always be a subject if there's going to be an object, and that subject can never be the object, because then you'll say, okay, then if that's the object, then there has to be another subject. So you can, through all these like analysis and practices, you can never know the me. All you can do from this exercises is, and very importantly, you can clean up your mind. You can like remove a lot of the clutter. You can be in a position where you're able to relax. Because if you
actually,
don't do these disciplines, you will not be able to relax at all. you know, then the moment you say I'm going to relax, there'll be hundreds of thoughts which will come. But after knowing all this, after knowing the futility of all this, everything, then when you say, I'm just going to take it easy, I'm going to relax, I'm going to stop, you can do it. That's it. That's that's the real meditation or whatever. That's what Rupert Spira says. That's what Raman Maharishi says. That's what Vedanta also says. That's Nidhi Dhyasana, right? Advait Vedanta says. Actually, come to think of it, all of them, ultimately, even the Dvaitas, Dvait Vedantas, everything, they all say the same thing. Really, I mean, that's what I've come to realize. When they say, reunion with God, it's also just relax. When you say Dvait, it's to say that everything else is Dvait. Everything else is Dvait. That's why it's Dvait Vedanta. Everything is Dvait. So the moment you apply your mind, the moment you start thinking, philosophizing anything, you're Dvait, already in Dvait. So it is all Dvait. Advait just says, don't focus on the Dvait, focus on the relaxation part. Just focus on getting rid of that. And Dvait says, you cannot help it. Whenever you think about it, it will be Dvait. So don't fight the Dvait. Say there is another Bhagwan and you are you. Don't fight it. Be like that. And then think eventually that you merge in God, which is another way of relaxing.
Mhm.
So it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter whether it's Dvait, Advait, Ye, Wo, Ye. To me, they're all, at the end of the day, it's all saying the same thing. It's just what draws you, what pulls you, uh, and what your mind is structured in a particular way. What is most appealing, accessible to your mind? Bhakti, Dvait, Advait, all that. I mean, I remember when I started with Advait, I was like all gung-ho, there's only Advait is right, everything else is wrong. How can it be right? But, practically speaking, it really doesn't matter. Maybe in some ways, Dvait is simpler for many people. But I was a philosophical type, I like everything has to be logically tied together. So the ideas of Dvait appeal to me. But they're all ideas at the end of the day. So do you understand better Aham Brahmasmi and Tattvamasi? So when you relax into this, without too much thinking, you just begin to relax. There is no fear, right? The fear would be gone. You're relaxed. You're not afraid of things around you. You're not anxious. You're not thinking about tomorrow. You're not thinking about the past, right? You're just relaxed. That is Advait. And that is what, in a way to reach there is, the way to reach there is Aham Brahmasmi or Tattvamasi, Because till you think about it, until you say Aham Brahmasmi and Tattvamasi, till you figured this out this is the Advait Vedanta route, huh? It says that till you think about this, until you've intellectually figured it out, you won't be able to relax.
No.
Once you've intellectually figured it out, that, oh yeah, Aham Brahmasmi, and nothing to worry about. At the end of the day, we are all there. There's a substrate. There is all that. When that model, you figured it out in your mind, then you can say, okay, I mean, I can relax.
But is it practically be possible to be always in the now without thinking of your past or future?
No, I mean, what Swami Dayanand says. So somebody asked him, he said, or I don't know who asked him, but he was one of those. Said, when do you meditate, Swamiji? That means like, when are you in this present? He says, in between my thoughts. So I meditate. Like I'm having a thought, I'm doing something, fine. The moment it's done, I'm back in my rest. Then another thought, then I'm back in my rest. Right? So he said, I meditate in between my thoughts. Which means for him, there is an in between the thoughts. And the thought, he has to do what he has to do, he will do what has to be done, and then he comes back to his rest state. That's how he defines it. And he's the only person I know, the closest that I know, who sort of is like that. I don't know anybody else. I'm definitely not there. So I can only give you an example of what he says. But it's not as if this is something very mystical or people haven't reached it. I mean, my guess is there are many people who are like that or close to that. And many of them may be Vedantins. Many of them may have nothing to do with Vedanta. They may be from other religions and other places, and some of them may be even atheists. And they can be like this. And it's been there for thousands of years. If it was completely bunkum by now, I think um, it would be called out. So yeah, I mean, we can go there, and the maybe if even if you're not there all the time, not in the present all the time, you can see the difference just by doing Karam Yoga. You can see already the progress. It's not like you have to do all this effort and then at the end of the day you'll get some result. You're just getting whatever results you're getting right now as you go along. That's the biggest thing. That's what Krishna Bhagavan said. He said, like swalapam api, and like the minutest of the effort will pay results. And you will get them along the way. And there'll be no bad consequences. That I can see in my own life, that you can see in your own life.
But most of the time, what we are doing in the now, we have a goal for tomorrow, day after tomorrow, afterwards. We are following that path, and even we are thinking about that thing to reach the target. So exactly, we are not in the now. It's a path we are taking to reach that goal, and thinking of the future things which have to follow.
Right. That's true, actually. And maybe that is how we start,
Yeah,
right? That's a starting point. So
we start. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
because
the
we have
start.
to start digging from where we are. So right now when we start, we have a very confused mind. We have
Mm.
we have a very busy mind. So, and the way we know how to do anything is by planning and doing. That's all so we have a method which is which has always worked for us. The method is we have an objective, we plan towards it, we know that objective is further away in time. Like मेरे को डॉक्टर बनना है, I know 5 years के बाद डॉक्टर बनूंगा. Today I have to study, I'll become a doctor, right? So that's the way we know to do everything. If you treat also, you have to say,
Yeah.
okay, this is the diagnosis. Now in 5 days the person will feel better. There's the medicine I give. That's how we think.
Mm.
So this also we apply the
Mm.
same method. Okay, my mind is all messed up. I want to make it better. I have a plan.
Mm.
I want to make it. My objective is I want to make my mind totally calm, and I'm going to do something about it. I'm going to do these sort of disciplines. I'm going to do this meditation. That's how we start, and it'll have an
Yeah.
effect for some time. And then eventually, as we keep hearing about this, as you keep hearing the teaching and what everybody's saying, you start thinking, okay, my mind is cleaner now, but at the same time, the teaching is also saying that you can be happy right now, in the now. At this moment, you can be in the now. So once you have some space created in your mind, which has always been so cluttered, you can then start truly thinking about it. What does it mean that I can be in the now right now? That's one way. That's the Vedantin way, right? Another way could be,
Mm.
some other discipline might say, stop everything, sit here, be in the now right now. Guru can take you whichever way. Then you slowly, gradually go there. But this is the first step. We have to do this, which is we have to first start addressing our mind, whatever we can, um, clean up our life a little bit. That's the process. But Sanjay, you see right now your question is very different. You have an openness at this moment, I think, my opinion. You're saying, but I have been doing this, but I have not been in the now right now even. I've been always thinking of the future. You asked this question
Future.
right
Yeah.
just now. Two,
Yeah.
3 years ago, you would not be asking this question. You would be
Mm.
100% sure that what you were
Mm.
doing is the way to
Mm.
go. And that's the right way to do it. And that's the only way to do it. Right? You would have been a lot
Yeah.
more sure. You would have said, no, this is discipline se hota hai, isse hota hai,
Mm.
you know,
Mm.
all right. But as your mind becomes more clean and more open, you start opening out to new ideas, new thoughts. And now the seed has been sown in your mind that, you know what, I can be, I can start, um, I can keep doing what I'm doing in terms of my goals with my mind in the future, cleaning up and all. But at the same time, there is a possibility that I can be living anxiety free right now, in the now,
Mm.
right now. That's all you need. The rest of it, once the seed is there, it'll take care.
Mm.
It's just a matter of, you know, just it developing.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But isn't it that whatever we are thinking for the future, but the now, right now, also, this is what we are doing now.
Yeah, 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 sure. Absolutely.
This is the now. Whatever that thought is the now.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, nobody's saying you should not have thoughts.
So, yeah, even the thoughts of future are the now, the thought, it is the thought of the future,
Yes.
whatever it is,
No,
whatever
no, no,
future comes.
no. Well, I mean, if I have to tell you about the now, that's a thought. If you
Yeah,
have to think of the now, that's a thought. But
yeah.
being in the now is not a thought,
Being in the now is not a thought.
right?
Right,
And I'm not telling
right.
you to think about the now.
Yeah,
Vedanta is also not telling you to think about
yeah,
the now. It's saying
correct.
be in the
Be
now.
in the now. Be
Yeah.
in the
Yeah,
now.
And
got
not only that, I think the problem is it's not that, like, the thing you have to understand is what Vedanta has told us is that our natural state is to be in the now.
correct.
The problem is we, because of our ignorance, because of our fears, we develop these fears, anxieties. It's these anxieties that pull us away from the now. So it's the anxieties which make us focus. It's the content of these thoughts. So, it's from one perspective, and this is again what Rupert Spira was saying, okay? Very nicely. You're the consciousness. All kinds of thoughts are coming and going. He's saying, don't worry about them, but don't get drawn into the content of the thoughts. You remember?
Yeah,
That's what
yeah,
he
yeah,
said. Don't get drawn into the content. But when you have an anxious thought, you get drawn into the content.
correct.
That is the nature of anxiety. You don't think about it as a thought, you think about the content of the thought. But if you're thinking about some, like I'm writing a book right now, I'm wanting to write a book, then the thought, I will be drawn into the contents of the thought of the book. No problem. It's okay. It's like, it's not bugging me. It's not bothering me. But an anxious thought or a worried thought or all of these, then we are getting drawn into the content. Because then we start imagining what the content is saying, oh, the future is going to be bad and everything. Then the now is gone, the peace is gone. So his point is just try to remember. I mean, it's not easier said than done, but try to remember that thoughts come and go. Raman Maharishi's point is try to remember that thoughts, behind the thoughts, there is an I thought. And remember that I thought is also just a thought. Trace your thoughts back to the I thought. Who is having these thoughts? Trace them back to the I thought. And remember that I thought is just a thought. Meaning, in other words, let it go. Let it go doesn't mean that you can stop having thoughts. Let it go means let the thought come and go. That's what it means. Don't worry about whether the thought is there or not. That's what let go means. So whenever people say meditation, let it go, that means you're not worried whether the thought is coming or going, whether it's whenever it comes, there are too many thoughts, very few thoughts, whatever. Don't be bothered about all that. Let them be. That's what let it go means. it doesn't mean that you are not going to have more thoughts. It may turn out that you won't have so many thoughts. That may be a consequence, but that's not what letting go means. Okay. And that's, what Raman Maharshi is saying is actually, in a way, what Vedanta is also saying, which is it's the I thought, which is the biggest sort of hook. You may even be able to go, it's the I thought whose content you cannot let go. So when Rupert Spira says, if I had to suggest to Rupert Spira, I'd say, describe your parallel universes of thoughts, but identify the I thought in that. Because that's a very special thought. The content of the I thought grabs us all our life. To say that I'm going to let go the content of the I thought is the thing. That is what this Tattvamasi and Aham Brahmasmi or sort actually mean. Right?
Mhm.
It's very difficult for us to let go of the content of the I thought. Anyway, I think it's too much philosophy here.
No, that's good.
No, it is. Yeah.
All right. What else? What other areas of Vedanta should we discuss other than the
We should
philosophy?
discuss material, whether the material world is real. If what is the material world?
Material world,
Including our thoughts and bodies.
they're real. I mean, they are forms, according to Vedanta. They are very real, but they are not. But they are not real in the sense that they change shape. They come and go. So it's like wave and ocean, right? It's just. I mean, if you really even think about this, now, sorry, we'll go back into philosophy or science again. If you really think about it, what are we really seeing? When we see something, what are we really seeing? Are we seeing that object out there? We have no clue. We are just seeing some photons that hit our retina.
Mhm.
That's what we are seeing.
Mhm.
Even that we are not seeing, because after photon hits the retina, then it becomes an electrical wave, and that electrical wave goes somewhere in the brain. We are sensing the electrical wave. We don't even know whether the photon actually exists. And what Vedanta says is, if you take it down all the way, right, the one who's sensing, one you call me, you're just seeing the changes in that me. That's how sensing happens. If I have to sense something, I can only sense a change in me, right? Let's say and this is true of anything. So, for example, even if you take a sensor, the sensor, a thermometer, like, well, I mean, anything to be sensed, we can only, at the end of the day, if something doesn't affect me, I can't sense it. Correct?
Mhm.
That's right.
Yeah.
Only those things that affect me I can sense. And what does it mean that it affects me? It means that it makes a change in me,
Change
right?
is mandatory. Mm.
Yeah. Without the change, there's no effect.
No effect.
So if the thing cannot change me, doesn't cause any stress in me, doesn't cause any physical dimension change, nothing, I won't sense it. So if I'm sensing this world, that means it is making an effect on me. It's making a change in me. And what I'm actually sensing is the change in me. And I'm assuming that change in me to be this world, because I see if it's a specific kind of a change, then my knowledge kicks in and says, this kind of a change means Sanjay, and this kind of a change means Mukta, that kind of thing. So all we are sensing is a change in me. As far as I am concerned, all there exists truly is me and a change in me. That's all that exists. That's what means Satyamithya. So if If all that exists is me and a change in me, then the question also becomes, I know that my me is infinite, it's unchangeable. Then how can it change? How can I see a change in me? And Vedanta says this is the inexplicable thing. It's the change which is not a change also at the same time. It's a anirvachaniye, Maya. It's knowledge. Like knowledge is a change which is not a change. It's something like that. So that's why it says it's not a the effect is what's called vivarta upadana karna. That means it's a seeming change. It's not an actual change, it's a seeming change. A seeming change in me. So then to explain it properly, then they say there's a me, which is Brahman or whatever, right? Atma. And this seeming change is happening in the Maya. Maya itself is not me, but it's kind of seemingly like me. Because nobody really understands it. We cannot understand it. We can only see a parallel of it in our dreams. We can dream. It's just a sort of a parallel. We say, okay, that's a parallel. But eventually, what Vedanta has been able to establish is that there is a me, there's a change in me, which is the world. That statement itself is difficult because I'm changeless. So this is a seeming change in me, and that's where it stops. Says I can't go further than this. I can say that there is a me and there's a seeming change in me. I can make it into a philosophy and say that this seeming change in me is Maya. I will define it as anirvachaniye. That means it cannot be explained. So, that
Idiopathic.
can't be explained. I'm done. I've tried my best. I can't go any further. I cannot explain it more than this. This is Maya, and the whole world is nothing but this Maya. Because this Maya is the change. It is the change which I see around me. I can call it knowledge. That's another way of calling it. So that is how Maya, that's another way of thinking about what is Satyam, which always exists. I have no doubt I always exist and I'm changeless and all of that. That is Satyam. And there is this other thing, which there is this change, which at the same time is not a change. It's a seeming change. That is Mithya. Everything in the world that I see is a change, which is not a change.
And it's mithya because its substrate is me.
No, no, it's just called Mithya, just a technical term. It just means Mithya. It's just a name, just like Satyam is a name.
And then the seeming
But
change.
its substrate is me is also wrong. It's not that its substrate is me. It's just it's a change in me. It's when you say its substrate is me, that means you're giving it something. It exists and it's got a substrate. No, not the way Vedanta is looking at it. Not the way I just explained it to you. It's a change in me. That's what it is. A seeming change in me, and I project it and I think about it as the world.
Hmm. But the seeming change in me also has like these miraculous laws, at every level. It's like
But the law is also a seeming change in me.
This is very complicated.
It's not. It's very simple actually. If it's very simple because it
It's
is.
very simple, but it's very complicated to explain and
Yeah, yeah.
wrap
So
your head around it.
it's very complicated because we cannot withdraw ourselves. It's the same reason why understanding Aham is so complicated because we cannot withdraw ourselves from this world. And this Aham is me is also part of the world. And this Aham is also a seeming change in me. It is also mithya. It's the same idea, same thing.
but what were you going to say? You said it's very simple because what? Just finish your thought.
It's very simple because it is so true. I mean, you can logically come to it just like I did right now, and you try and find any argument anything about it. I mean, do you disagree that you can only sense or experience that which has an effect on you? You can't disagree with that. do you disagree that you can only experience an actual change in you? So if whatever the you is which is experiencing the world, when it experiences the world, it's experiencing a change in itself. At the same time, we've established that this me cannot have changes, because if it has changes, then it is a part of the world. It's in space and time. Where is the space and time that, there's nothing else but me. There's a fundamental thing. So it cannot have changes. So if the me can't have changes and it's experiencing something, obviously that it is changing, but it's a seeming change. It's something beyond our capacity to understand. And the whole thing, everything we experience, all feelings, all thoughts, all experiences, everything are seeming changes in myself. That's it. Now, the problem is not that this is difficult to understand. The problem is it takes effort to reconcile. It's like a transformation, those Lorentz transformations. You're in this frame of reference, and this is another moving frame of reference. How do you transform this body from this frame of reference to that frame of reference? So you have to now say, I experience this. How can I look at it from this perspective, the paramarthic perspective, which is it's a change in a seeming change. Like Kiki said, then what about the laws? So you're going to say that law, causation, space, time, at the end of the day, these are all thoughts, and they're all, therefore, seeming changes. They're all part of Maya, right? And that's what Vedanta also says. Okay, I think let's stop.
It was a very good class. A very helpful class, anyway.
See, it seems, I mean, again, it seems very helpful because of the way that your mind is, right? It's like, but it would be most helpful if what it tells us is that all this is an exercise in futility at the end of the day, right? What we actually have to do is relax. Then it would have served its purpose. Anyway.
Well, it seems to me that it's a good thing that the way Maya is structured is through some logical laws, even at a psychological level, because it gives me a thread to, it gives me a thread, or gives people a thread to sort of do this, expect this, and that does happen, and then it's a thread to lead you into some deeper understanding and relaxation.
And you hope that, okay, by the end of this thread, I will reach some understanding.
No, it will, at the end of the thread, that the thread is a tool. It's like the thread
Right.
is a
That's what
tool.
I'm saying. It's this, just remember, that's what I've been telling you. We keep making these things, okay? Like this thread, this tool that Sanjay keh raha tha, in the future. We're kicking the can down the road. You don't have to follow a thread to reach a logical understanding in order to then say, I can relax, that I understand. What I'm saying is, these are Vedanta itself is a thread. All these disciplines are a thread. You've been following this thread a long time, right? And it's like sales है ना हमारे उधर होता था. Um, when we used to have these quarterly sales meetings and all, I remember there's something called a hockey stick map. The sales are going down, 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 but our projection is, you know what? They're actually going to go up. So when we draw the projection, this like that, right? So when we draw these projections that, oh, following a thread, or I'm doing a discipline and I'm making progress and I'm like this, it's the same thing. maybe the sale is not going down, but we are projecting it up, the future. But what the manager wants is the sale right now. Right? The future का किसने देखा है? So what Vedanta is telling you is you have a sale to close right now, not after you follow the thread. You can follow the thread if that's what you want to do. I mean, nothing can be done. But the true message is you can close the sale right now. There's nothing, ये मन का बहलावा है.
Then why is Karma Yoga there at all? If you can close the thread right, if you can do it right now, Karma Yoga is the thread, right?
Yeah,
So
but because you
why
need a
say
thread,
have Karma Yoga at all?
we need a thread. At some stage, we've got to realize, you know what? I don't need a thread anymore.
And I don't think it's just like all one or all the other. I think you can have glimpses of, being anxiety free while you're in Karma Yoga, right? So
We're not talking about what you think and what I think. I'm telling you what Vedanta is saying. We can think of anything to suit our needs right now. We can think of whatever gives us pleasure right now, whatever gives us escape, whatever gives us solace, we think of it. I'm I'm saying rather than think what you think, try to understand what Vedanta is saying. Vedanta is saying you have at some stage till for a long time you need a thread. You need Karam Yoga as your thread to follow. Because you're not ready. But there is no thread which leads you to liberation at the end of it. Like Karam Yoga is a never-ending process. Karam Yoga is telling you that there's a way of life which is good for you. You have to keep doing it. Even after you feel, whatever, let's say you say, I'm living in the now, I don't have anything more to do, you'll still be doing Karam Yoga. It's just that you will not be doing it with a lot of discipline, you'll be doing it spontaneously. So you're never going to have a perfect mind. You're never going to have a perfect body. You're never going to have perfect thoughts. You're never going to become this ideal person, right? But when you decide, when you choose, you can be a happy person. That's the Vedanta's message. It's the ultimate message. Yeah, at some stage you have to move from Karam Yoga to whatever. Even if you're saying I'm following the Karam Yoga thread, at some stage you have to move from Karam Yoga to Gyan, to what Jivan Mukta. What is that stage? Swami Paramarthananda made this very clear. I remember I listened to his lecture in Rishikesh. He said, if somebody asked him the same question, like when, he said, the biggest obstacle is you. There's nothing between you and your liberation. The only obstacle is you. There's nothing else. In other words, you yourself have to at some stage say, I'm liberated. He said it's a claim. It's not something that you have to earn. It's not something that you have to, whatever. You have to claim it. You have to claim your real nature. And that claim also requires some guts, actually. But that's what it is. This is not, again, this is not me saying it. You can argue with me. You can even argue about it. I'm fine to argue with it, as long as you understand it first. Right? Then we can argue. That's not a problem.
I have nothing to argue against over here. I agree with
I
it.
mean, like because you were saying you can be this also and that also and all of that. That's what I was saying. Like you can be anxious also, and some you can have glimpses of this and something you were saying. That's what I was talking about. As long as you understand this is what Vedanta is saying, then we can, that's what it is. Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasana, right? So first, let the Shravanam be proper, and then we can do the Mananam. But see, what happens is we don't have the Shravanam proper. Like even this Aham Brahmasmi, what we talked today, everything I said today was not Mananam. It was all Shravanam, right? It's
Sorry.
all, Mummy is it?
No, Arjun, one second. Hi, honey.
So it's all part of Shravanam. Correct. Eh, But I have to tell you, I mean, this is not, I mean, only with this group we can have this discussion. I can't, like, we can't have this discussion anywhere else. This is very, pretty, pretty advanced, as advanced as what the Vedanta can get, I think.
Yeah, it's very, very philosophical.
Yeah, very philosophical, very, very deep. Even most books and all, if you read the early books, they don't talk about this stuff like that. They make it very simple, uh, stage wise and everything.
But then that's the difference between reading a book and when you are talking to somebody,
A
guru
person.
or
Yeah,
person. Like then whatever, after reading the book, you may not really understand everything. There are many things will come to
yeah,
your mind, then you need to clarify those. So you need somebody to clarify those things.
true. And even after that, we can have you need multiple conversations because
Yeah,
every time one thing gets cleared, then next time another thing gets cleared. We
true.
listen to a lot, but we absorb only what our mind can absorb, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So whatever is most important right now, you'll absorb, and then other things you may not absorb, and then we do it again, and then you'll absorb those. That's why they say Gita should be read again and again.
Yeah.
You only told me, right, Mukta?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you plan to do after the 18th chapter is
Yeah.
done?
I don't know. I mean, let me just shut the recording and then we can
Yeah.
talk.